welcome back. I want to start this video with a warning because what I'm about to explain today, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Today, I'm going to help you identify emotional manipulation, explain the neuroscience behind why it works and how it diminishes your confidence. And so, go ahead and grab your notes because we're going to get right to it. And lastly, how to reclaim your power. Now, emotional manipulation doesn't just hurt your feelings, it erodes your confidence and distorts your reality. And guess what? When left unaddressed, you slowly lose yourself. And the worst part, it really comes from strangers. It typically comes from partners, family, friends, co-workers, authority figures, people you trusted. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jenny Gaston, licensed professional counselor, and this is a place where we talk about all things mental health, anxiety, trauma, perimenopause, depression, emotional healing, and psychological patterns that impact your daily life. So if you need additional support beyond this video, I will include my Facebook group in the description, along with resources from NAMI, which stands for National Alliance Mental Health. And they provide free education and resources. Because guess what? Healing does not happen in isolation. And as a therapist, I'm the first to say I have a therapist. Now, question for you. Have you ever left a conversation feeling mentally foggy? You just replaying it over and over in your mind, questioning your sanity. Was it my fault? Did I misunderstand? And thank you for the likes. Am I being too sensitive? Why do I feel guilty when I didn't do anything wrong? And slowly, without realizing it, you're questioning yourself more than the person who hurt you. This is not an accident. This is psychological manipulation. Thanks for joining, Leon. Welcome to the live. And manipulation makes you question yourself to the point where you're apologizing and explaining yourself excessively. And guess what? Abandoning your needs just to maintain the peace. That is exhausting. So let's break it down. What is emotional manipulation? Well, it's when someone uses tactics to control your behavior for their benefit, stress their benefit. This is through confusion, guilt, obligation. So comment truth if you feel me, okay? And this happens through destabilization over time because once someone controls your perception, they control you. And manipulation can disguise as concern. I'm just trying to help you. I'm just being honest. I'm keeping it real. But somehow you leave smaller, not supported, more anxious, not understood. Guys, this is conditioning, okay? This can also come from religious authority figures, okay? I just want to pray for you. And it turns into spiritual abuse. So let's talk about gaslighting. When your reality gets rewritten, okay? This is lethal, guys, okay? Why? It happens when someone denies your experience and replaces it with theirs. You say that hurt me. They say you're too sensitive. You say, this is what happened. They say, no, you remember it wrong. Over time, your brain doesn't trust self. And you begin what? Deferring to their version of reality. Not because they're right, but because confusion is exhausting. And the brain prefers certainty. Even a false sense of certainty, okay? And a person who doesn't trust themselves is easier to control like a puppet. All right. So manipulators, unfortunately, often use guilt to avoid accountability and shift responsibility onto you. They say things like, after everything I've done for you, you change. You're selfish. But what they're really saying is your boundaries is an inconvenience for me. Guess what? Healthy people respect boundaries. Manipulators punish you for having boundaries. They make you feel like they should have access to your time, energy 24/7. That's not love, that's emotional leverage. Now we're going to get into the silent treatment. This is a, I would say, withdrawal method that is used as punishment. Okay, the silent treatment is not emotional regulation. It's withdrawal used to create anxiety to regain control. Why? Because we're wired for connection. And when it's suddenly removed, your nervous system interprets it as fight, flight, or freeze. And if you grew up in a home with narcissistic parents, your brain will enter survival mode. And so if you're feeling me, go ahead and show me some love. And I see you. Thanks for joining, Charles. And why does this happen? Because our nervous system wants relief and conditions us to silence ourselves to regain that connection. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. This can also be seen in friendships to maintain power. And so guess what? If you have to abandon yourself to maintain a friendship, relationship, it's time to exit. So comment bye-bye if you're like, I'm ready to detach. I'm ready to detach. Now we're going to talk about love bombing and breadcrumbing, the addiction cycle. Love bombing often happens in the beginning of a relationship. It feels intense, it's fast, too good to be true. This is not just with intimate partners, it can happen with friendships as well, where they overwhelm you with constant texting, compliments like, oh, you're so amazing, you're the best friend ever. You feel chosen, seen, and your brain is inundated with oxytocin, right? Dopamine, that addiction cycle. But once the attachment forms, the pattern shifts, the affection becomes inconsistent. Highlight on inconsistent. Okay, this is how addiction works. Breadcrumbing. This is why, for those who struggle with gambling, this is what the casinos use, the same method. It's not enough to create that stability, and your brain chases that first high from the beginning, not realizing that version was a mask to begin with. This inconsistency, sorry, it's early, creates this addictive pattern because it's intermittent reinforcement, okay? And your brain is looking for that emotional reward, not realizing that instability creates trauma bonding, okay? So comment trauma bonding if you're like, you feel me. Let's take a deep breath together, guys. This is heavy. And soon I'm going to give you some journal prompts to heal, okay? This is my feeling pillow. How are we feeling this morning? Okay. And if you would like a screenshot of this, just Google feeling well. It's great with teens and kids. So, like I was saying, over time, manipulation erodes trust in self. And so here's some prompts to help you rebuild. 1, when do I feel most clear and grounded? 2, who makes me feel confused? And I'm sorry for any background noise. I do have middle schoolers. What boundaries, 3, can protect my mental health now? 4, what does emotional safety feel like in my body? It's important to recognize safety because manipulation teaches you to abandon yourself. Remember, emotional manipulation survives on confusion, but collapses in clarity. So once you see clearly, you will stop abandoning yourself, right? And that's the key. You will begin returning to yourself, your intuition, and your truth. So if this resonates with you, comment truth. And if you need additional support, join my Facebook support group, or you can check out NAMI, an organization with free resources and mental health groups. And remember, on this channel, we protect your mental health, rebuild your clarity, and maintain or regain your power. So thanks for joining in, and I will see you in the next live. Much love.